Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. It is 1985, Wednesday at 12:30 in the afternoon. It's a cool, warm Wednesday in Manhattan. Wednesday is the long day. Wednesday and Saturday are the long days at the Winter Garden Theater because we got the matinee and the night show. And it pretty much, Wednesday and Saturday pretty much exclusively belong to cats. There's only so much you can do between shows, and so it does. You just say, "All right, we're in for the duration." So I'm coming up the subway steps at 50th and Broadway. There, coming up the steps up to street level, and as you walk out of the steps, you see Broadway open up before your eyes to the south of you, and there are all the Broadway plays and musical houses and the marquees, and there's some Broadway cinemas and marquees you can see all the way down to Midtown and the skyline. It's fantastic. And as I'm coming up and I reach street level, I can look and I see down at 47th Street, just a couple of blocks down, you can see the marquee for the Pussycat Theater. Yes. It's an adult movie house. Yes. And on the marquee for the adult movie house is the words in big red block letters emblazoned across the marquee, Tickled Pink. Yes, Tickled Pink is the adult movie that I worked on back in September. Yes, that I shot in September 22nd, 1984. I remember dates. Anyhow, so it's having its premiere on Broadway. Yes, the movie that I'm in is having a Broadway movie premiere tonight on Broadway, where they say the neon lights are bright. On Broadway, where a million hearts beat quicker there. Hey, Ma, I made it to Broadway. Yes, yes, I already told you I'm appearing at the Winter Garden Theater. I'm appearing at the Winter Garden Theater. Yes, that's true. I'm appearing at the Winter Garden Theater. I'm with cats. I am. Yes, that's true too. Yes, it is. And not only that, but I've got a movie that I appear in. Yes. And that's having a premiere tonight on Broadway in a Broadway movie house. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And where will I be during the premiere of that? Oh, I'll be working at my other job up the street on Broadway. But I am most assuredly going to go to a later showing of the movie which is premiering tonight on Broadway. I was so excited at the prospect of seeing my face on a Broadway movie house silver screen. Come on, that's pretty cool. So I go into the Winter Garden. I got a long day's work, got 2 shows. Do the show, you hang around between shows, and I'm wondering, I don't think I should really tell anybody or invite anybody along. I'll see how the movie is, and then maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow or something. But it's just a little weird. It'd be kind of like, hey, there's a porno movie down the street. You want to go see it with me? What? No, well, I'm in it. No, I mean, ew. I mean, yeah. So I kept a lid on that one. Right. Anyhow, you get through the second show, and you pack everything up, and you balance the books, and you're out. We're out. It's always so fantastic when you leave work. And I saunter down the street, 3 blocks down Broadway, to the Pussycat Theater. Yes. And I go in, I go to the box office. The next showing is in a little while. And it's enough time for me to go get a couple of drinks. And so I pick up my ticket. And I saunter down Broadway to a local booze house, local drinking emporium, and I have a couple of drinks, glunk, 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 and a couple of smokes. Yes, It's the 80s, darling. You're smoking indoors these days, yes. Anyhow, so that's very exciting. And then it's time. Yeah, we've had a couple of drinks, and now it's time to go to our Broadway movie premiere. Yes. So I walk up the street and I stand in front of the Pussycat Theater. Yes, the Pussycat Theater. And I say, yes. And I'm waving to the non-existent, non-adoring fans because nobody cares that you're somebody going into the Pussycat Theater. So I go on into the lobby and I've got my ticket. And so I go on into the auditorium and then it hits me. Boing. Did you ever smell a Broadway movie house, let alone one called the Pussycat? It smells like a locker room in there. If a locker room was also a bar. Yeah, it's a little bit sweaty and smoky and boozy in there. Yeah, it is. Anyhow, I sit down. I take a seat near the back, and in very short order, the movie starts. There it is. Opening credits, tickled pink. And did we make the cut? Drat, we didn't make the opening credits. I didn't think we did. I didn't think we would. You know what I mean? We were going to stay to the end of the movie and see if we made the cut then. I sort of doubt it. Anyhow, so then the opening credits are over and the movie begins, and it's a scene in the office. It's my scene where the one and only Miss Bottomley comes down the hallway with her coffee cart and rings her little bell, and all the idiot office workers come rushing up to her so that Miss Bottomley, please, please, please. And some of these idiots actually said, cream in mine, Miss Bottomley, please. But we're all, and you can see, I was the first one up to Miss Bottomley. Yes, I was. She meets eyes with me and pours my cup of coffee. I took that as a win. It was fantastic. And then the scene's over, and Miss Bottomley, all the coffee idiots go away back to their office, and Miss Bottomley goes with the main office nerd, and they get it on. Right. So, and that's it. So now all I have to do is sit through the rest of this movie and see if I made the cut in the closing credits. It's sort of a piece of junk of a movie. It is. The plot, such as it is, involves mistaken identity and Girl Scout cookies, I think. Anyhow, at one point, however, during the movie, some creep walked up to me, straight out of central casting from the pervert division in his trench coat, and he walked up to me, and he leans over and he says, "Do you want some?" And I look at him, and I wanted to use my troll voice, scare him away. I said, "No, go away!" And he did. I go, now I know why this place smells like this. Yeah, you get the idea. Anyhow, so the movie eventually ends, thank heavens, and there's the closing credits, and we didn't make none of the extras made the cut. Nobody, we didn't. Oh well, it's fine. So the movie's over. I stand up, and then right away the movie starts again. It's on a loop. It's on a loop. So I'm going to watch the opening credits, and I'm going to watch my scene again. So I sit down. I watch it. Watch my scene there. I'm on a Broadway silver screen, baby. Oh yeah, it's so cool. And there we are. And there's Miss Bottomley. She meets my eyes and gives me coffee. It's fantastic. And then that scene is over. And so I stand up, and it is with a mixture of disgust and pride that I walk out of the movie house into the lobby, waving to the non-existent, non-adoring fans. Please, please, I said, please. No autographs as I walked out into the New York night. All right. Speaking of the New York night, Yes. All right. Now, when it comes to marijuana, that is to say, when it comes to Manhattan, you can get anything the day or night, whatever you want, including reefer. Right. You got to look around, but you can find a jelly donut or a dime bag at just about any time you want. So I'm downtown one night. I'm down here at WXQRLMNOP, one of my favorite bars downtown. And I'm like, yeah, we gotta find somebody selling smoke on the street. So that's what it is. The smoke sellers walk around saying smoke, 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 sense. They say sense, which is short for sensimilia, or cess, they even say. Smoke, cess, sensimilia, which is seedless, which is the new, fancier, slightly pricier strain that it was going around. Yes, I just get the regular stuff. Smoke. So I walk around Lower East Side, and there's nobody. There's nobody. I go over to St. Mark's, and there's nobody selling. It's fine. I say, I'll just walk home. I'm bound to find somebody. I walk on up, get over there to Broadway, and I begin my old familiar trek. Yes, you walked it with me the other night. Yeah. And so we walk on up through the teens and up to the lower 20s, and there's 23rd Street, where Broadway and Fifth Avenue sort of crunch into each other, right? And that's where the Flatiron Building is, right? The Flatiron Building, as a friend of mine called it. Yes. Oh, I love that building. It's the Flatiron Building. And I'm like, the Flatiron Building? Okay. It's Flatiron. Yeah, I know. Anyhow, so I'm there at Fifth Avenue and Broadway, all crunching into each other at 23rd Street there. And I say, okay, I'm going to take Fifth Avenue straight up. Slightly different route, slightly different neighborhoods. So I'm walking up, and as I said, it's night, but it's not a ghost town, except for when you go through the garment district. But for the most part, it's not a ghost town, and there are witnesses. So it's not that terrifying. And you get up to 40th Street, and there's a lot more activity. There's people, just random people around, coming and go. It's fine. Get up to 42nd Street, and that's where the library is. That's where the New York Library with the lions. Yes, the lions are there, and they are named, by the way, Patience and Fortitude. Yes, that's the name of the lions in front of the New York Library. Ah, here we are in front. We're hiding behind Patience right now. Yes. Yes, if you see down in the lower corner there, right. Anyhow, so we're over here by the New York Library, and I cut over past Bryant Park, right next to the New York Library, Bryant Park, and that's another nice little park. I'm skirting along the edge of that, and I hear music to my ears. I hear smoke, smoke. There's a couple of dudes, a couple of lanky, tall, skinny dudes over here by the corner of Bryant Park. And I look at them, and they're tall and lanky and wiry, and they could kick my ass anytime they wanted. You could tell. Just saying. But we're about to negotiate a deal. So I walk on up, and I'm like, "Gentlemen," they're like smoking. I go, "Gentlemen, what you got?" And he goes, "What do you want?" I said, "I'm looking for a regular dime bag." And he goes, "We got a regular dime bag." And I go, "Yeah." And I go, "Can I see it?" And he goes, "Oh, sure." He pulls it out. He pulls up little dime bags about an inch and a half by an inch and a half, with a couple of joints or three joints, depending upon how packed the little bag is. And it looked like it had some product in it. So I said, "Yeah." So I reach into my pocket. Now, here's the thing. Earlier, when I knew I was going to be looking to make a purchase, I put my wallet in one pocket, and I took a $10 bill and put it in my other pocket. So there's nothing but a $10 bill in that pocket. You don't want to take your wallet out You never do. So anyhow, I go, yeah, and I pull it. I reach in my pocket. I pull out my $10 bill, my Alexander Hamilton, and I go to give it to the guy with the dime bag, and the other guy snatches it out of my hand, and one guy gives me the dime bag, and I'm like, whoa, ho, ho, and it's nice. It's a nice little dime bag, and I stick it down in my pocket. And one other guy does this shooka thing with his hand, and he goes, what the hell is that? And he throws something down on the sidewalk. And I look down, and I look up at him, and he said, I said 10. And I said, what? And I look down, and I go, I gave you 10. And I look down, and it's a $1 bill that he threw down on the floor, on the ground. And I get this, I get this little tingly, I get this little tingly thing. Yes, I get this little tingling down my top of my head and down my back and down my neck. I look over the dude and I say, no way. I gave you a 10. He says, that's a 1. I said, I gave you a 10. He says, I said 10. I said, no way. I gave you a 10. And he goes, shut up, man. And I go, shut up. No way. I gave you a 10. And he goes, shut up, man. And I'm going, no way. And I got nothing else to say, but no way. I gave you a 10. I gave you a 10. I just start screaming it, screaming. And they're standing there. They're getting a little agitated. And I pick up the dollar bill. And I'm like, I gave you a 10. And they're like, shut up, man. Shut up. And I go, no way. And they go, fuck this. And they took off running. I'm panicked. I'm just coursing with adrenaline. I'm terrified, but I turn and I walk as fast. I know they ran. I know they're going that direction, but I'm going to turn and walk as fast as I can. I cut over and I'm on my way over to Broadway, and I don't turn around until I get Broadway and I turn around. I know they didn't follow me, but I'm still coursing with adrenaline. And I got a dime bag. And I still got the dollar bill. I got a $10 dime bag for $9. Yeah. So that's fantastic. You know what? I went home. Yeah. Guess what? It was pretty good. So that all worked out. All right. So now it's a couple of weeks later. 1985. July. Yes. And Beatrice. Yes, Beatrice. Beezus, as I sometimes call her, as you know. Beatrice is appearing in a show. She's appearing in Two for the Seesaw by William Gibson. And she's appearing in it out of town, down here in Silver Springs, Maryland, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C. It's an hour and a half or so train ride from Penn Station, New York, down to Silver Springs, Maryland. Yes. All right. So Beatrice is like, you got to come see this show. She had been out of town while they put her up, and she was staying down here in Silver Springs, rehearsing and performing this show. And she's going to be in the next show, too. So she's going to be there for another couple of months. And meanwhile, Suzanne is working down there. She is directing the next show and has cast Beatrice in the next show, which is Sam Shepard's Fool for Love, another essentially two-person show. That's a lot of heavy lifting that Beatrice went through in 2 shows back to back. That's pretty impressive. That's a couple of good marks on your resume. Yes, it is. A couple of good credits. So, I took the train down to Silver Springs, and she met me, and we went over. She didn't have a car, and we walked on over to her apartment, and there was Suzanne. We saw each other, we hung around, got a little bite to eat, and then we went to see the show. Right, and Beatrice was terrific. It's a lovely show. The guy, it's a 2-person show. The guy was good. It was a nice show. And then afterwards, we went out and had the beverages with the company at large and hung around. It was real nice. Okay, so now it's the next day. And Beatrice says, we are going into Washington, D.C. like a couple of tourists. And I'm like, okay. So we took the subway from Silver Spring, Maryland to Washington, D.C. And let me tell you, that subway system in Washington, D.C. is so nice. It's so clean. If they can do it, why can't we? New York, hey, have you seen the pictures of the subway system in Moscow? Are you out of your mind? They're just immaculate and beautiful and laden with art. New York, come on. Anyhow, anyhow. Uh, so we go to Washington, D.C. and roam all over the place. Oh, look at that statue. Oh, look at that. An ionic pillar. And it was fantastic. And we eventually went to the National Air and Space Museum, which is the best one. And we spent most of the day there roaming around there. It's got everything from from the Wright brothers up to the moon landing and after that. Oh yeah, it's fantastic. They even have a moon rock. We walked around all bloody day looking at this, that, and the other thing. There's the Wright brothers plane itself. There's the Spirit of St. Louis. There is a lunar module, one of the lunar land rovers that they built but didn't send, but it was exactly one of the ones that like they have up there. Yes, and then it's sort of a celebrity encounter in a way. They have NCC 1701 itself. Yes, the nerds will know what I'm talking about. Yes, that's the Starship Enterprise, the model that they used in the opening credits of the television show is about a 4-foot model. Yes, and they have it hanging up there. Yes, I think they could have presented it and displayed it a little bit with a little bit more grandeur. I think it looks like they just sort of tucked it up in the corner, but here it is, the NCC 1701. You can see. Yes. Anyhow, that was, like I say, that was one of the highlights of a museum filled with highlights. Right. So we went out and we're beat. We're exhausted. We've been walking around all day. We go up to the mall. We go up to the huge lawn in front of the Washington Monument. And we sit around and we lay around. We play on that for a while. That's fun. It's beautiful. Then we go over to the Lincoln Memorial. We walked down the lawn to the Lincoln Memorial and we said, we would like to smoke marijuana on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Yes, but there were people coming and going, tourists like us, only not exactly like us because we wanted to. So we go, oh, if we go around on the side here, and we did, we walked around to the side. Here we are on the Lincoln Memorial, smoking illicit contraband. You can see the Washington Monument in the background. Yes, yes. Smoking dope on the Lincoln Memorial. We felt it was our patriotic duty to do so. All right, here we go. Please make a comment if you've been to the National Air and Space Museum. Yes. Or if you've ever held a moon rock. Yes, I haven't. Please let me know what it's like. All right, thanks for coming. And tell everyone you know about this. Yes, please do. I'll see you next time.